Welcome back to Entertainment Thursday here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe, and the first interview of the day is about youth empowerment. And in studio today, I'm joined by guests from the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace. And let me introduce my guest, and I'm joined in studio by Mika Kamara. Welcome to the studio. There's also Emmanuel Tanui. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And there is also Koji Matsuda, who is the international president of the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll start with you. What does International Association of Youth and Students for Peace stand for?
Yes, I'm international president of this organization. This is an NGO in special consultative status with ECOSOC in the United Nations, and we focus to empower youth and students to have more a clear vision and have more responsibility to serve for the community and the nation and the world.
What major areas do you focus on, and so far what initiatives have you carried out in Kenya?
Yeah, this is the first time for me to come to Kenya. I'm now visiting 5 nations in Africa. So we'd like to support youth organization and students in universities to work together. Especially we have a peace designer program which educate young people to have to create service projects by themselves. Also, we have some like a speech contest, we call synergy. They can create their own projects to serve community and the nation. And also in African region, they have a lot of programs. So she will explain.
Yes, talk about those programs, and welcome to the show, Mika. Talk about those programs, especially when it comes to the youth, especially in Kenya and Africa at large.
I see. Okay, thank you very much, and I'm very grateful to be here. At the moment, we are based actually in Africa in 5 sub-regions, and in each location we have our youth presidents. And then in each nation also we have our youth chapters. So across the region at the moment we are very active in 22 nations, especially in DRC, in Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, and also Zambia and Kenya. Yeah, so at the moment, as mentioned, we do a lot of character education programs and also different youth projects to empower the youth, to really engage them in developing themselves. In Kenya at the moment, we're mainly partnering with Women's Federation for World Peace organization, as well as we have a partner, Asesha Plus Kenya, who's really working in vocational training and really empowering the youth, especially with skills, because we know when our young people, as much as we are very talented, if we don't have the opportunity to practice and utilize our skills or learn how to use our skills, we resort in other things which are not helpful. So it's something that we really want to work on, and we're working with different partners on that. But our major area is really supporting also in character education. We believe through that also we can become more centered in also our approach and how we achieve things. So that's what we do.
Mr. Emmanuel Tanui, talk about the reception of the initiatives of youth empowerment, given that the youth of today are looking at ways of not only empowering themselves, but making a living out of whatever efforts they do. Talk about the reception that you have had so far.
Thank you once again, Mike, for having me here in this studio, together with my team from IYSP. As you just mentioned about Kenya, we have had quite a number of programs, and as you may be aware, there is a lot that is expected from the youth today, and while at the same time we find that they are actually going through a lot of challenges in the society. And one of the programs that has been highlighted by Regional President Mika is on the character education programs that we intend to promote more so that we can cushion the youth from especially and social challenges which we have experienced so far in Kenya. We see violence in schools. We also see issues related to drug abuse. We also see early school dropout and early marriages, such kind of things that even though we have made great strides, especially in trying to reform our education system to allow them to have an opportunity to earn a living, we have not so much been in the area of teaching them on how to live, the philosophy aspect of how to live. And because of that, even though they may look like they are successful in other areas, especially in the career, we have not been able to see the similar response in especially the side of learning how to relate with the people in the society, how to overcome challenges that may not have been impacted to them in the school. So character education seeks to inculcate a culture, a new culture where we will have these youths being able to overcome certain challenges other than focusing on a specific issue like drug abuse or like violence or like issues related to the social problems. We want to go to the root and educate them and create a culture where youth can be able to sustain their livelihood in both areas, career and character. Yeah. So character is a foundation for education.
Mika, I'd love to know, in terms of empowerment, there must be pillars that you work around that enhance your efforts in empowering the youth of today. Maybe you could talk a little bit about those pillars in the context now of the Kenyan youth.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, at the moment, actually our values that we really focus on with the acronym of RISE, and we focus on responsibility, right? Realizing that we need to be youth who are responsible for our nation, for our family, for ourselves, actually. We also talk about integrity, right? And recognizing that what we are thinking, what we are saying should be also what we're acting and doing. This has been lost, I believe, in our society where now, what we say and what we do is very different. So we want to bring that back and really recognize that that's a very important attribute of a character. We also believe the third one is service. Yeah, believing that it's important to serve others. It's not so much as just we as ourselves, but we belong to a larger community. Yes. And if we don't serve others, we are definitely, losing out. Yes, and the fourth one is empathy. Recognizing that if we can understand our different situations, the different cultures, different backgrounds, different religions, but recognizing that we are all one and empathizing also with our different situations is also very important. So these four core values is what we really emphasize. And I believe in the Kenyan environment, I mean, it's everywhere the same. Our youth situation, I've been to many countries across Africa, and the reality is this is very similar. Yeah, we have a lot of young people. We want to be doing a lot, but at the moment, as much as we are a high population of youth, we're very also high unemployment, yes, right, across the nation, across the region. So this is where we truly believe that if we can support the young people to recognize that they are the ones also to not just look out there for hope, but also bring the hope into our nation, bring the hope in our region, using those four core values, using also, of course, engaging them with skills, engaging them with the right proper practice of or methods of how to learn and how to do things. This is how we believe we can empower our young people.
Good. Bwana Emmanuel, talk about, in as much as we talk about youth empowerment, when you talk about youth empowerment, the first thing that comes to mind is economic empowerment. But there's also the aspect of leadership empowerment. Talk about the aspect of leadership empowerment as a way to uplift the youth of today.
Thank you. In relation to empowering youth, as you have mentioned, that there are several areas of empowering the youth. other than the aspect of economic empowerment, which also we've been working in partnership with some of the organizations that seek to develop the youth by providing vocational training programs to enhance their skills so that they can be self-employed. We also are trying to focus on how we can be able to raise them as leaders in the society. One of the things that we want to focus is education. And when we say education, we do not only talk about intellectual education. We guide them and we encourage them also to be useful in the society. Like we have service for peace programs where we encourage youth to take part in programs like community service programs. These are not necessarily for a purpose of gaining economically, but it is to nurture them, to educate them that they can also be able to serve the community. Recently, we have had quite a number of programs where we have exchange programs where we send some of our youths to neighboring countries or even across other continents for the purpose of learning and participating in local programs within those nations. And so recently we have some who have arrived from Zambia, where they were able to learn quite a lot. And in this way, we inculcate a culture of leadership, and we want them to develop in a way that they can go beyond whatever limitations they could be having, so that they can have experience of what happens outside and how to deal with the local problems. So in this way, we are saying we are nurturing leadership from a young age, and we put them in the front line so that they can also be able to practically participate and see. And through that, we have realized that they become educators, they become teachers. And as I mentioned, it is not only in terms of maybe academic success, but we also have to nurture them and inculcate a character of leadership in them.
Yes. Mr. Koji, I'd love to know, in your efforts of empowering the youth around the world, how do you measure the success of your efforts? What can you say so far has been the impact of your efforts?
Yes. For example, I was in São Tomé Príncipe 2019 and working with the government, and we organized a summer camp. And we invited 130 high school students and university students. And we invited 55 youth volunteers from 25 nations. And we worked 10 days and in the 6 schools for like a renovation of the classrooms, and also we did character education and international exchange program. And all of the students who participated, they were so excited, and they started YSP club in each high school and also university, because they want to do more for service program. Also, they want to learn how to create projects. So I could see this kind of outcome in one nation. So we want to make this program as like a model program to expand to other countries. Also Kenya, we want to bring youth volunteers from Japan, Korea, and America, and other countries, and exchange young people. Also continue this kind of education program, character education. Then after that, if they can create some program by themselves, then that's a good outcome for us. And so we want to empower local youth more and more to have more clear vision and to do service, to continue their activity. That's what we want to see more like an outcome of our program.
Mika, it seems you focus more on character education. What drives this focus, especially on character education? What drives this in terms of, in the context of youth empowerment?
I see. Yeah, I think what drives it is the reality that as much as we are human beings of intellect. We are also human beings of spirit, right? We're also human beings who are on emotion. And sometimes we can focus a lot on our education intellectually, but that doesn't touch all aspects of us as people. And when we just focus on the intellect, people can maybe be very smart, but how they engage with other people, how they engage in the society, how they are responsible, how they use, I guess, their intellect is what is the problem sometimes. If they don't have the right direction, the right values, the right understanding that we're all as one. So this is where the need for character education, there's definitely a need because it's something that is unfortunately not presented so much. Sometimes it's more on the religious side that it's emphasized, but we believe character education is not just for one religion, it's for across the board. And based on our founder's vision, it's very important to have character education in our education of who we are. So this is what drives us.
Mr. Tanu, I'd love to hear from you concerning the capacity of the youth to make their own decision as a way to empower them.
Just as you mentioned, it is connected to also character, and it says that educating without character is educating a menace to the society. It means therefore the foundation to be able to make their own decisions is based on the internal aspect of character, not necessarily the intellectual aspect of educating the mind. As you are aware, there is a disconnect between knowledge and doing what you believe you think it should be done. So this disconnect comes as a result of only believing that it can only be happening by sensitizing people or giving them the knowledge that this is good, this is not good. But it is actually, it goes deeper than that, that we need to nurture and inculcate it in the character of the person. This is the only way we can now be able to bridge the gap between knowledge, the disconnect between knowledge and doing. So, for instance, we know values that are mostly preferred in the nation. We also expound. We also have them in our constitution, especially Article 10 of the Constitution. It talks about certain values that seeks to direct people, citizens, to overcome excessive greed and also overcome self-centeredness and bring together all the community as one. And this way, it seeks to inculcate a culture of living for the sake of others. So this is a basis by which we can now be able to transform the society. The disconnect here is because as much as we sensitize people and we educate them and they know so much about it, there is that lack of the willpower to do what they think is right. And this is only possible if we can be able to inculcate it through education of character and allowing them to practically take part in social programs. So as you can see, we have been addressing issues, social issues like what we have mentioned in areas like drug abuse, also violence in schools. But these are just symptoms of the problems that we have. These are not the issue, the real problems. It means there is an underlying issue, a problem that we need to solve. We need to go down into the root so that as we nurture character and we create a culture, a new culture, then we could have people who say, we don't do that because we are the people who do this. This is not in our culture. But as much as we are investing a lot of money, working with partners who are focused on specific social and social issues, we may not be able to really overcome these social challenges in schools and also in the society. Why? Because we are dealing with symptoms. We are dealing with drug abuse, which is just a symptom. It is not the main problem. The main issue is if we go deep into the character of persons so that they, without even being guided by anybody. They live a life that they believe, that they understand, and also they value it. And in this case, they can now be able to express themselves through action. So this is where we need to be able to emphasize in our education system. We are doing a lot. We are doing good in impacting knowledge and intellect, but we have 3 faculties of emotion, intellect, and willpower. So in this way, we need to focus on the character, because we say character is the foundation of education. If, for instance, we say that education is the food, then character is the plate. It's the plate that we need to serve that food. So you can imagine you are serving food, hot food, without the plate. So you need character, so that on that character you can be able to build education. So we want to balance education of career and education of the philosophy of education, other than only the science of education. So we learn how to earn a living. At the same time, we learn how to live. This is where we want to be able to incorporate, and if possible, we will be able to have a dialogue more in these areas and see how we can also be part and parcel of those who are also trying to see how we can be able to reform even our education system, so that it will incorporate this, and this way we will be able to solve quite a lot of problems.
Absolutely. Mika, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the challenges so far, especially in Kenya, that you have faced in terms of the initiatives that you have in empowering youth?
I see. Yes, I believe that some of the challenges is engaging sometimes our youth. A lot of our young people, of course, due to the economy and wanting to focus more on what can get me a job, right? So that involves them to be more focused on that area. Also, of course, in terms of engaging with other partners. That's not a challenging, actually, that's something that is very beneficial, but it's how also we can find more partners to work with so that we can do more, because reality is, there's a lot to do, and just working as one organization is not enough. So therefore, finding other partners with the vision to empower our young people, to work with our young people, is what we really are looking for. And we hope here in Kenya we'll be able to do much more together, because there's a lot that we want to be able to achieve for the young people of Kenya.
Is there potential for the Kenyan youth in as far as empowerment is concerned?
Potential, definitely, yes, definitely. From my experience, I can see so far our Kenyan youth are very engaged. They're very also a bit more global from some other nations that I've met, and I think there's also a lot of development here. So I feel if the young people of Kenya also rise up and believe that they can make a difference in their nation, it can also be a model that can transpire to the Eastern sub-region, to the Africa region, and that's what we're looking for. So Kenya has definitely a lot of potential for that.
Bwana Tanui, I'd love to know the place of innovation in your effort to empower the Kenyan youth.
In those areas of innovation, we've been working with partners. This is not an isolated program area. We have been encouraging even partners like West Asia group, which are always mostly dealing on vocational training. And also we have had programs with our youth from other nations who have been coming to Kenya, and we have been in areas like Transmara and all those areas to understand the dynamics on the ground, and also to be able to see how we can work together in partnership with those other youths from other nations. So some of the areas that we encourage also is we work in partnership with local organizations that deal with mostly empowering the youth in education and trying to bring up skills in small way, technical skills, and also educating them on how to be able to find ways on how to earn a living, not necessarily by educating them to find jobs, but we also encourage them to understand that through those small enterprises, they can also be able to come up with their own jobs. They can create jobs on themselves and they create income. We have seen this, most of our partners who have been working on that line through vocational training programs, even those youths who have never been so privileged, especially to perform well in academic, they have excelled even beyond expectation. And some of them are even becoming employers of those who excelled beyond them in some point. So we believe that all around we can still be able to find an avenue other than focusing only on areas of looking for jobs and employment, which are very scarce. We are promoting that aspect, and therefore some of our partners locally have been working on those areas, and we could also be able to have our youth go to other countries also to nurture their skills in different areas and come back here to be able to impact that on the society.
Yes. Now, as we wind up, Bwana Koji, what is your message to the youth of Kenya today?
Okay. Yeah, I have been visiting several countries in Africa, and African youth have potential because especially in the continental level, the population is increasing a lot compared to other continent. So young people, if they have more clear vision and goal, and also have a good character, then they can develop more and more. And also young people who have a responsible heart toward nation, then this nation can develop more and more. Like Japan, Korea, after the World War II, all the houses were broken, and I'm from Hiroshima.
Yes.
And also many people were killed. But after the World War II, Japanese worked very hard. They had a responsible heart. I want to do more for our nation. And the Korean people also have this kind of commitment and heart. That's why I felt Japan and Korea developed. So Kenya also, young people, I think they need to have more clear vision and a clear goal, and have a more responsible heart, and also good character to serve for others, living for others, and then serve for community and the nation. If they have this kind of a heart and character, this nation will develop more and more.
Yes. Your message to the youth of today as we wind up.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I feel my message for our young people is really let's love our nation. Let's love our continent. I'm originally from Mali in West Africa, but I'm also from Australia. I've lived in both sides of the world. But I definitely feel like in our region of Africa, there's a lot more that the world hasn't seen. And I think it's up to the young people to bring it out and really show that we can really not only develop in our region, in our nation, but even develop for the sake of the world. Yes, so that's what I want to give.
Quickly, your parting shot.
My parting shot to the youth of Kenya is that I would want to ask them not to limit their horizons, not to expand their horizons, and also to believe that they can be able to go beyond limitations.
Yes. There you have it, all about youth empowerment here on Entertainment Thursday. Good Morning Kenya takes a short break. I have been your host, Mike Megwe. Good morning.